What is up, everybody? So, yeah, a couple of things going on today. Let me just get this all set up. I was so excited to just get on here because there's a thing I want to start talking about. As always, I'm here for questions, conversation, getting in the comments, seeing what everybody's got to say and all that stuff. And let me make sure that my sound's good. Last time my sound wasn't good. My graphics are okay. And my table's a little, I never do this. I got coffee on the table right now. Had a little bit of coffee. I am super excited to start sharing some stuff with you. Um, you guys may or may not know, or you may have noticed that uh, baseball, basketball, football cards, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering cards, One Piece cards. There's a whole world of like sports cards and all that stuff where people are out in this world gambling on other stuff. And I like that stuff. Like, let me just show you this real quick. And I want to talk about what's going on with all this and how it's related to the casino industry. So like for me, you can see I've got a bunch of these things. I like them. They're fun to collect. I did it when I was a kid in the 90s, and now I've got kids, and it's fun to do all this stuff, but man, oh man, has the gambling part of it taken over. And so I'm just going to go on a quick rant about that. Then I want to tell you how I'm going to be at Cherokee later today. I'm meeting up with my close friend Victor. We're going to have a good time there. Um, Checking out the World Series of Poker. I don't think I'm going to be participating in any of these events, but I'll definitely be there. Say hi if you see me. But yeah, I want to talk about this. So I was watching this interesting video. I don't know if you know how this stuff works. It's fine if you don't. You'll still like this. If you care about poker and you care about casinos and you're interested in any of that, you're gonna like this. So just listen to what I'm saying here. So the sports card world, I was watching this video with one of the leaders in a group where they do the grading for it. It's one of the leaders in the PSA world, Professional Sports Authenticator. It's the company that puts the nice slabs together. Let me show you guys one so you can understand what I'm talking about for a second. So the company that makes these right here, let me get this on camera. These slabs right here. See if you can see it down here. That company was has been raising their prices lately. And people that collect these things for years and years and years, the people that collect these things, like they want them to be nice. Obviously, they want the value to be there and they want it to be valuable. But recently, PSA has had to raise their prices because all of this stuff became so popular. So many people are sending stuff in and get graded. And it's like on the manufacturing side, the sports card and Pokemon companies are making an absolute fortune, charging tremendous amounts of money, where people are buying packs and boxes, trying to get good cards that are valuable to sell them to make money. And there are a lot of people out there that are collecting the cards and they get them because they want them. But the majority of people nowadays that are in this world with these cards have them for profit. They have them to try to make money and they're addicted to it, gambling, trying to make money more than anything else. And so what's happening in this whole hobby is and as a casino gambling expert, right? As true poker dealer, someone that's been around this for a very long time, okay? I can see the patterns there, and the people that are in this card world, they don't get it. They don't see the patterns. They don't even understand what's happening. PSA is raising their prices because there's too much demand, and they're trying to slow people down from sending stuff in to get graded. You know, whenever you have a card, um, if you want to see if it's a perfect card, then people think it's worth more, and there's all these little parts to it. And the people that are gambling, trying to open packs and boxes, are furious at the price increases and the slow turnaround times to get their cards graded and sent back to them because they want to be able to recoup their losses from gambling more quickly. And watching the gamblers absolutely take over this entire hobby and industry because the manufacturers, Panini and Topps, are absolutely catering to them because they make more money, and it's creating this cycle that we know in the casino world really well. And so I wanted to just like share that I'm seeing uh people in the comments on these videos where the guy that leads PSA is essentially explaining intelligently all about why they had to change their prices, and nobody cares. They're just spreading so much hate and complaining, and it's all that losing gambling energy that's just being shot at them. And it's like I'm watching it, familiar with all this stuff, and it's just so interesting to me to see all of the patterns of gamblers from the casino industry or not, right? Just people in general with their gambling patterns just completely transposed into this different industry with sports cards. They're trying to get the autographs. They're trying to open a pack of cards and get the autograph and the game worn jersey patch inside the cards that are worth the most, and the serial number 1 out of 1, where there's only one in the world of a really cool looking card that everybody's going to want and they can get a lot of money for it. And when they don't get that, they're getting frustrated. They're losing money over the long run. And they're taking it out on the grading companies for raising the prices in normal business circumstances and slowing down turnaround times because they can only put out 500,000 graded cards a day, or whatever the time frame is, instead of as quickly as the gamblers want them to. And it's just fascinating to see. So, that's my rant on sports cards and watching the gambling sort of make its way into um, this hobby and almost take over, because I was reading comments on a video where it was actually a really good interview with the guy that runs PSA, and the comments were literally all hate, and it was just all gambling negative energy that I've seen 1,000 times from people that are losing money, frustrated, and leaning on trying to get some money back from these cards that they have that they want to go get graded so that they can sell for more, because graded gems sell for more than regular raw cards. And yeah, it's a fascinating thing. So thank you for listening to that rant. Um, and now back to the poker world, which I mean, there's overlap there. I'm gonna take a sip of this coffee. I hate leaving coffee on a poker table. This is my table. I tell my kids never do this. I tell them that I never do this. Hopefully they don't watch this video, but I don't have the right setup to not do it, and I will be careful, hopefully. If I'm not, you guys will see me spill coffee on my table, and maybe you'll see me with a new table very shortly. But let's see. Thomas says, "Let's get it." Amazing, 100%. Yeah. So listen, as always, I am here right now. I'm really excited about today going to Cherokee. It's only about an hour from where I live. So as soon as I'm done with this live, I'm pretty much gonna hop in the car and head over there. Maybe it'll take me like an hour and a half to get there total, 30 minutes to get out the door. But I'm gonna be going to Cherokee, checking out the World Series of Poker today. It's nice. Like I've never actually been there during any of these events. I've been to Cherokee one time. I did not play poker. I don't know that I'll play poker today. But I am definitely looking forward to seeing what I've heard around the country in different places. They always talk about how the Cherokee World Series of Poker stop is like the best. They get so many people there for it, and just coincidentally, like I said, a friend of mine is going to be going to this to sort of check it out. He has the WSOP coming to his collection of poker rooms that he's responsible for, and so he wants to sort of see the flow and learn from it so that he can make sure that he puts on a better show in Texas for it. So I'm pretty excited to get out to Cherokee and sort of take it all in, and familiarize myself with the casino that I live closest to now. I've only been out in North Carolina for a few years, and I've spent very little time while I've been out here doing anything other than working with you guys on this business and being a dad. Those are the two things that I'm doing when I'm out here, and then every other month I spend time in Dallas dealing poker, and so that's sort of my time for that. But yeah, it'll be good. Like I'm excited to talk to all the people out there, meet the different people that work there. I've been in different places out in Asheville, which is where I live, Asheville, North Carolina, and I've run into people that work at the Cherokee Casino, and I've had conversations with them. Nobody in the poker room. I haven't talked to anyone in the poker room there. Well, that's not true. I've talked to some people that sort of work the circuit, and I've emailed back and forth and had people in my comments that work in the Cherokee poker room. That was a few years ago. That was before I moved here. But since I've been here, I haven't like bumped in anyone. But I have talked to like table game supervisor, table games dealers, stuff like that from Cherokee. So it'll be fun to sort of go and just chat people up, especially when it's like busy like that. Definitely looking forward to that. Curious if anyone who's watching has been to the Cherokee WSOP recently. I was talking to somebody yesterday in the chat that had said that they'd worked it every year for 4 years and they weren't going this year, which that would have been fun. It's always fun to just like say hi to people. Also, it's a fun experience for me to go into a new poker room. Like, I could go into a huge poker room and have 40 people know me when I walk in, or I could have zero know me when I walk in, and I never know what it's going to be. I have zero idea when I walk into a poker room how many people I've trained that have learned from me. And in the past, nowadays I'm doing the remote dealer school, so people who are learning from me are going to be interacting directly with me live via Zoom, which that's amazing. But in the past, most of the people who have learned from me have done it from my self-paced course, which is still available. And the people that walk up to me and say like, "Oh my God, you taught me how to deal poker," like I didn't know that because I wasn't interacting with them when they were using the self-paced course a lot of the time. So it's a really cool experience every time, and I'm definitely curious to see what happens when I walk into the Cherokee Casino. The one time I was there, I was blown away by one thing in particular at the Cherokee Casino that I love about it, and I wish every single tribal casino did, especially the big ones. They make it at Cherokee. If you don't know this, listen to me, it's great. They make it so that it's smoke-free everywhere except for in the little smoking rooms, as opposed to the other way where a lot of places do it, where you can smoke everywhere and they just try to have good filtration systems. Is that the right term? Is that for water? Air filtration? No, it's filtration. They try to have good systems that clean out the air, and then they provide some small rooms that are non-smoking. Cherokee does it the other way. They make it so that the whole huge, and it's a massive property. They make it so that the whole huge property is smoke-free, and then there's small rooms where you're allowed to smoke. And so literally, if you don't like walking around other people's smoke, you literally just don't go in the smoking rooms and you're fine. And I love that about it. But yeah, I've only been there once and I didn't play poker. Um, I am looking forward to driving out there too. Asheville, I think, might be the closest airport to Cherokee. And they've just done a $400 million renovation, or maybe they're like halfway through it in the Asheville airport. It's gotten nice. If you've flown into it a couple years ago, you know that you had to like take a plane to get to Asheville, and you had to obviously to the airport, but you had to walk down the steps off the plane onto the actual ground, well, paved ground, and then walk like there hadn't been a gate where you get in. That's all better now. It's all different. It's all updated, regular airport stuff now in Asheville, which is near Cherokee. So that's a positive. Um, there's a table games manager or supervisor that I was talking to that works at the Cherokee was telling me that for a very long time the Cherokee didn't have any competition. And because they didn't have any competition, like, they were just raking it in. Like the money just comes in. When there's nobody around you for an 8-hour drive, which is how it used to be, it's not like that anymore, but it used to be that way. Cherokee with nobody around them for an 8-hour drive. This supervisor was telling me that they literally have the luxury of people just coming to them, even though it's like it's not directly off of a highway the way that you might expect, but a lot of them aren't like that. And he was telling me that now that there's competition, there's this one guy that comes in for table games and slots that just spends a fortune, and he's been coming for years, and the guy's been asking for a helicopter pad for a really long time, and they were always like, well, no, we're not going to do that. And so there's a competitor, it might be the Hard Rock in Virginia or something like that, that put a helicopter pad in there for him, and the guy started going there, so they finally put the helicopter pad in after this guy had been asking for 15 years. If you guys ever wonder what competition does to a casino, that's what it does right there. Helicopter pad has been put into the Cherokee Casino, from what I'm told, and it's pretty funny stuff. He was like describing how, um, as an employee at the casino, he absolutely wanted them to put the helicopter pad in the whole time. I mean, because we get it sometimes, right? But also it's not us spending our money, so it's hard for us to say. What's going on in the chat? Who's watching right now? Say hi if you're out there. Talk some poker. What's been going on? Who's out there who's learning how to deal right now as you're watching this and you're trying to figure something out or you're curious about something? I'm gonna get into the Facebook groups right now. There was an interesting comment I saw the other day. I want to find some poker dealer groups. That's a good one. Oh, this is a great one. Actually, let me put this on the screen. Um, this will take me just a second. Yeah, I saw this the other day and I was like, this is definitely something I want to talk about, and also something that is satisfying. Let's see. So I just gotta find this. Here it is. All right, putting this up. All right. Let's see. Let me move my head over just for a second here so I can like really make this the right size. All right. So you can see right here it says this is in a Facebook group. Any idea how to get into the audition for WSOP? I mean that's a great question. So somebody who's feeling trained, right? Where is I gotta pull up this live stream to keep an eye on the comments. That's why I gotta get this up. So I mean that's a great question. Like if somebody wants to get into the WSOP and wants to audition, how do they do it? And you know, Rockstar Dealing Academy. So one thing that I just, you know, I've said this a few times, I want to make sure it's clear to everybody. If you are looking to try to get into the WSOP, if you want, you can just join my remote dealer school and learn with me. You would be at home and the classroom is over Zoom. And I teach everything that you need in order to get to the in order to pass a WSOP audition. One of the important things, I had a comment from my live stream yesterday that basically asked like, what's the goal in order to be able to pass an audition? And it's a very fundamental and interesting question. And it makes a lot of sense to ask that. The answer is for me, when I'm teaching remote dealer school and I'm trying to help somebody pass a casino audition, I'm doing a few things. One, I'm making sure that they have the rules and procedures associated with the game in like a fundamental way. Number two, I'm making sure that their habits are trained in and they're like in their body and their instincts for the fundamentals, like the real fundamentals. Like, does their shuffle look like the instincts are there? Does their pitch look like the instincts are there? Chip cutting, like the way they interact with the bank, the way that they make change, and are they sort of attuned to the nature of the game and how it gets played? For example, if players are calling $2 bets in a 1-2 no limit cash game with $5 chips, do they know the flow of how to make sure that the player is comfortable getting change? Do they know some of the little rules that can come up, which you do sometimes get tested in auditions? And I know for sure for the auditions that I do, I test people on that stuff. All those little details are there. But one thing that poker rooms almost never, I'm sorry, one thing that poker dealer schools almost never care about that I always focus on. I ask the person where they want to work and I make sure that they understand exactly what that poker room is going to care about in their audition. And it's not that hard to find out. Like poker rooms out there are not trying to they try to trick people in the audition themselves sometimes, but they're not trying to trick you on what the audition is on. Like there's no benefit to a poker room in telling you, I don't know what what we're gonna test you on. Good luck. Like learn everything in the world. Like no, they want to audition you on the games that they have in their poker room that you're going to be dealing, and they want to see if you can deal those games. There's actually no cheating at this. You can't successfully pass an audition for a game and pretend you it's there's not really any fake it till you make it. And when it comes to the question is, do you understand how to deal 1-2 no limit Texas Hold'em? If that's all that's in the room, that's what they should audition on, and most of the time they will, but they're going to tell you. So that being said, when you work with me and like for the WSOP here, any idea how to get into the audition for WSOP? Like when you get into that and you're training for that, you got to know what they expect of you. And that's the same for any poker room. And so like when you go to remote school with me, I'm going to make sure that we're asking those questions. Sometimes we'll find out together. Sometimes I'll put that as your homework. You need to reach out to them. And I can be the voice that tells you they're not going to lie to you. There's no benefit to them to lying to you. They're not trying to set people up and waste their time and your time. It's hard enough to pass an audition. That's the truth of it. So they're gonna tell you what the audition is on. And like for instance, there's I was talking to someone, they said that their audition the other day was PLO, Badoogie, and 7 card stud. And I mean, it makes sense not to audition on Hold'em if you get those games in your poker room because those games are tougher and they have all the same fundamental principles as Hold'em. So you would still learn Hold'em. It's just if you can deal PLO, even if you don't know Hold'em, you can still learn Hold'em like that. And that's the point. So figuring out any idea how to get into the audition for the WSOP, like Well, the first thing is you have to be proficient and communicate to them that you know how to deal so that they can say yes to you auditioning. And, you just need somewhere you learn. If you learn from me, you learn from me. If you learn from someone else, that's fine. And then Rockstar Dealing Academy says, you know, there or this person says Rockstar Dealing Academy is one of the audition hubs for WSOP. There's a few of them out there, and then obviously you can do it in Vegas. I would wonder. I haven't tested this. This will be for next year because I just started the remote school right now. This session starts for remote school starts February 16th. If you're interested, just go to truepokerdealer.com. You can check it out, see what my remote school looks like. If you take my remote school, we will be done with the training in time for the WSOP. That's one of the reasons I'm starting it so soon. Uh, the truth is, I probably could have used another month getting the marketing ready and all that stuff, but I don't care. I'm on YouTube. You guys see me here. You talk to me here. But I did it quickly because I wanted anybody that's interested in trying to get into the WSOP to be able to do that. And so we're starting the first one right away, and I'm pretty excited about that. And the last time somebody asked me in a live stream, how do you get into the WSOP audition? I just directed them to the website where that's where you find that out. And there's literally phone numbers on there where you call people. So let me see, what is it? WSOP dealers and staff or something. That may or may not be exactly right. It's something like that. Yeah. Um, so dealer application information. In here is where this wasn't the hold on. Oh yeah, this is the one right here. So if you search for WSOP dealers and staff, then you can find this link, and then here's the phone numbers, the email addresses, WSOP dealer hotline call outs. That's pretty funny. You can, if you want, guys, you can pretend that you're one of the WSOP dealers and call out. You can call into them. They just make this phone number public like that. You can call into them. Please don't do this, but I'm saying it because it is sort of funny that they set themselves up for this. You could call into them and say, "Hey, I'm Johnny Gomes, and I'm calling out today for the WSOP as a dealer." They just provide that number to you right there. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but it's sort of funny. Please have respect for other people's workplaces. We don't want to actually make that phone call, but that's the first thing I think about because as someone who's been a manager and a supervisor in this industry for a long time, I see the liability and the risk for something like that, and I might set it up a little differently. But I was having a conversation with somebody that's very familiar with the World Series of Poker, and I was asking them what they do with their dealers, and in order to prepare them to deal. Because over the years, I've never worked the WSOP. I've played in an event or two there. I've never played the main, but over the years, you hear all the complaints from players about the dealers, some wild, wild stuff where the supervisors maybe don't, the hiring managers maybe don't I mean, they hire so many people, right? The joke is, what, you failed your WSOP audition? How? With all the people they hire, with all the dealers the players complaining about the dealers, like I mean, that's sort of the joke to a degree, but it's been confirmed from many different sources that the WSOP doesn't really do a whole lot once you get hired there. You actually have to be your own teacher, and you have to be responsible for your own knowledge in terms of that. And I'm sure that that's not as true as they make it sound. I'd be curious to actually talk to them, but yeah. Hold on. All right. So, how do you get into the WSOP audition? You can just call the HR number, or you can look at this unintentional or intentional advertisement for Rockstar Dealing Academy. Let's see. Let me see. I'm interested in dealing WSOP after I graduate next year. Are there any courses you guys would recommend to learn to deal the series? To deal a series I want to learn. Thanks. So this is where I get curious if anybody, right? This is exactly the joke right here, right? If you have a heartbeat and one arm, you're in. That's the joke. I mean, uh, this is actually changing. It's been a joke for many years, but it's really not funny. Oh, geez. People are emotional. I'll take the under, right? Exactly. Nobody believes it. Um, let's see. The when was this? 16 weeks ago. The stories I've heard this year are that many players saw noticeable improvement. Clearly, this isn't something anyone can fix all at once. It's a huge multi-sided problem, but it's being finally being addressed, and year over year it will get better. Um, I hope that's true. And this person continues by saying, literally, the three places I'd recommend you get training are already listed in this comment thread. Oh, myself, I own Elite Poker Dealing Academy, located around Biloxi, Mississippi. um, yep, and then Rockstar, which is the one that they promoted earlier. I wonder who owns this group. Let's see. I'm just browsing this right now. I'm always curious if anyone recommends my stuff in a group like this. If you have a pulse and you're in. Maybe right now I should just make a comment in this. When is this from? October 2025? Yeah, why not? Um, I highly suggest, actually, what would you guys say I say here, right? I highly suggest um, going to the True Poker Dealer website and joining Remote Dealer School. It's a full poker dealer school, just like the other ones that were mentioned, but over Zoom, and it's taught by Marc himself on the YouTube channel. I can't just look at these comments and not post. That would have been funny. Yeah, interesting. Oops. Well, what else you guys got? I'm here for all of you. If anybody wants to talk about some poker, anybody that's watching right now, is anybody learning how to deal poker currently? Is anybody working somewhere and they're new? Is anybody coming across any situations that they want to discuss, they want some feedback on? Is anyone who's a poker dealer currently watching and thinking about maybe being a dual rate supervisor and want some conversation around that? Um, Throw something in the chat for me. Tell me what you're thinking about. I know this is like a 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern, so like on the West Coast, we're real early. These are just the times that I'm available right now. I'm going to be going to Cherokee today to check out the WSOP. I'm excited about that. Let's see. Here, I'll look on Facebook for some more stuff. Dealer. I'm just here working for a sec. Let me see. Maybe I should put these up. If anyone jumps in the comments, I will give you my attention for sure. And in the meantime, I am here just working on some stuff. put that in there. Answering questions in the chat, and just working in the downtime. All right, let's take a little look at what's going on at Cherokee today. So I'm going to be there a little bit later. And let's see, they got it says WSOP circuit event, February 12th. Oh, so today's the first day? Interesting. I guess I thought yesterday was. Let's take a look at their schedule. So I'm going to be here in a couple hours. I mean, I guess it's possible that I sit down and play a little poker. I'm not planning on doing that. I'm planning on going to Cherokee today just to check it out and spend some time with people I know that are going to be there. Let me pull this up on the screen a little bit. So let's see, where do you go? This, yeah. Um, Jacob says Jessica is who you'll want to speak to, but she'll probably be busy being the event starts today. Yeah, totally. Um, well, I mean, uh, Jessica, if Jessica, so is Jessica the one who works for the WSOP? Like, I assume that they have traveling dealers for this, obviously. Yeah, yeah, that's how it's always been. Um, But does she work for Cherokee and she's the one I want to talk to, or does she work for WSOP? Just if you could tell me, because I assume that the people that I'll be with will be talking to the people that are running it at times for different things because they're going to be running their own event in Texas. And I imagine that the people that run this event will also be out there. That's why this person's coming with or going there. Let me see. Also, good to see you, Jacob. Thanks for being here. And thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, let me know who Jessica is. Okay, so she's the WSOP one. Do I know her already? I wonder. Sometimes I find out that I already know people. So what is the event? All right, it's event one, $400 buy-in, 100K guarantee, and they've got. So this is 10 a.m. $400 buy-in, 100K guarantee. Age is 40 plus. That's interesting. Huh. For travel dealing. Yep. Oh yeah, maybe I know her because she's the one that I was referred to for joining them as a tournament dealer, which I didn't end up following through with that, but I liked that I was suggested to go that way. So 4 p.m. is flight A for a $600 mini main $1 million guarantee. So it starts at 4 o'clock. And then 11 o'clock tomorrow is flight B. How many total flights are this? It looks like it goes to flight E. And when is event 2, day 2? Does it show that? Event 2, day 2. I don't see that here. A, B, am I missing this? Let's see. Saturday. I mean, this is funny to me, right? Like, this is how it works, and people are definitely going to play, like probably more than anyone else. But Valentine's Day, we're gonna have a flight at 11 o'clock. Sorry, sweetheart, I won't be there tonight. And 4 o'clock, same thing. Let's see. Where does it show the schedule? Structures, Cherokee Winter, WSOP structures. We'll go this first. No, it's so small. How do I collapse this? Yeah. So here's this. A, B, C, D. Can you guys see that? I can't, like, it's so small. I'm just trying to find where day 2 is here. I mean, I assume it's Sunday, right? What's the big one? Main event, 2 reentry per flight, 2 million guaranteed, 3-day event, 1700. That's cool. I mean, it's great that I wonder how much they get. I wonder how many tables they have. Jacob, are you still there? Where do they host this? I've seen the poker room. It's sort of like near the sports book, and it's a big open area, but there can't be enough tables. There has to be a ballroom or something that they have everyone go to for this. Let's see. And then, for those of you that are wondering, um, like you have to learn in order to deal as a traveling dealer, what games do you need to know? Like, what are they going to audition you on? I was talking earlier about how one of the things when I'm teaching somebody, I make sure that they know to ask the poker room that they're trying to get a job at what games are in the audition. And here's an example of why, right? Like, this is slightly harder to read than I would like, but I mean, they do communicate the information. It's all no limit, no limit, no limit, no limit, no limit. And then here's pot limit. And this is pot limit 8 or better, which, I gotta say, it took me, it's one thing to learn how to deal the game well enough to be able to pass an audition. It's another thing to like deal it regularly. It literally took me until 2021 when I was dealing this game regularly. This was five card, but five card and four card is very similar. It took me until about then to be able to just like really quickly flow. The goal, once you're hired, the goal is to be as quick as, if not faster than the players at like reading hands and all that stuff, to just like be with everybody, even the quickest players at the table. Like ideally you would be at that stage. And so PLO, there's a lot going on. You're calculating math and all that stuff. So for five card high low, or in this case, four card high low, like it definitely takes reps in order to get to the point where everything is so automatic for you that you can then jump as a dealer into the player mentality and understand like what they're thinking at the same time as you're dealing, so that when someone tables their hand, you already have some instincts around what they might have, just like a player at the table who's their opponent would have instincts around what they might have. And so you start to see the hands really quickly. um, it's actually really interesting when you get to a certain level as a dealer, which this is for the advanced course, which I'll be teaching, months from now, probably 6 months from now. But when you get to a certain point as a dealer and you can keep up with everything so well, you can also have that poker player mentality. And it's really interesting to be dealing at a table and pretty much know what somebody has, because you're into the game too. You're maintaining the procedure, you're doing all the things facilitating the game, and you're doing it really well with integrity. But you're like, when you get to that certain point as a dealer, you can sort of like say, oh, this person always plays these types of hands. They're going to either have this or this right here. They turn it over and you see it immediately, not because you did the whole thing where you're reading the board and figuring out what the nuts could be, and then just evaluating down, but because you're into the game. Like getting to that level is incredible, where someone just turns their hand over and you're like, yeah, yeah, okay, and you just immediately see it as the dealer, not as an opponent at the table, because you're so familiar with dealing that stuff's all instinct, and you can actually be present as a player at the table essentially too. um so yeah, so I'm looking at this stuff. So PLO, nobody's going to expect you to be that good for an audition. They don't, when they're trying to pass or fail you for an audition, they're not evaluating you to be able to be super duper 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 quick. And like if you are, obviously they're going to say like, we'd like to hire you unless your personality doesn't match what they want. But there's some flexibility there. But just looking at the mix here, this is no limit. Another pot limit. This is regular pot limit. I thought I saw, usually there's some mixed game variants. So if you're a new dealer, yeah, I actually don't see, maybe they have like a horse or something like that. Usually so 130 tables is what they have at Cherokee, roughly, according to Jacob. Thank you for this information. Which, nine-handed is maybe 500 or 600 people. And tournament entry numbers can get really high off of that. Sorry, a thousand people. I don't know why I said 500 or 600. 1,000+ people can get in on 130 tables, and 2 to 3 tourneys running simultaneously. Yeah, that makes sense. So it sounds like it would be, oh, the event center. Yep. Totally makes sense. And if you're a poker player, you've been to places where they have like big locations. Like I've seen this at the Vegas locations, and I've seen this at the Florida locations, and they have the big ballrooms for the tribal casinos, where they just like, they have huge numbers of tables, and they section off, this tournament's in this corner and this tournament's in this corner, and they're so big that they don't actually feel like they're next to each other at all. They just fill the rooms. And I like stuff like that. It's also fun like seeing the same crew, supervisors that, I used to see them come when I worked at the Coconut Creek. They'd come to my poker room, and we would work with them. The ballroom is right next to the regular poker room, so people would just come back and forth. Let me see. I don't see any mixed games here. Did I miss them? So I said it's a little hard to read. Like I'm looking at this, it says no limit, so I just look on to the next thing. Cash Survivor. PLO. No limit, eight or better. Interesting. So yeah, so for this tournament series, unless I'm missing mixed games on here, like I would say there's probably no need to audition somebody for mixed games with something like this. Like why would that matter? Uh, and also if you're a new dealer and you see that there's like PLO high low, there's this feeling you can sometimes get if you're pretty new where it's just like, oh my God, I don't want to get fired, right? Like if I try to do this and I'm intimidated, like anything like that, totally understand. And if that's you and you want to try to avoid that tournament, sometimes they at different places they might say like, hey, who wants to deal this tournament, this tournament, this tournament? And if someone tells them like I'm terrified of this tournament, they might just not put them over there because they don't want to create a bad experience for everybody. Um, Jacob says just Omaha and Cherokee usually totally. And then if somebody but if somebody's new and they actually go into it with the mentality that like I'm going to not think about this as my job for a second. I'm going to hold that it's my job, of course, but I'm going to come in today knowing that there's PLO high low, right? Like we have on the schedule here. Where was that? PLO 8 or better. So I'm going to come into this today with the mentality that there's PLO 8 or better, and I'm going to bring my training self to today. And I'm going to say, if I deal this tournament all day, the rest of my poker dealing career is going to benefit from the experience that I gained today. And I'm going to go into this. I'm not going to rush. Maybe the other dealers around me are going to go a little bit faster, but I'm going to deal this table and I'm going to learn over the course of the day everything about how to do this better. It's going to be one little detail at a time. I'm going to get better today. It's going to be me putting in, my 6 to 8 hours at this game. Like as the tables break down, they probably send dealers other places or send people home or whatever. And I'm going to dedicate myself to dealing the hard one that scares me because I'm good enough to do it, right? I have this job. I'm good enough to do it. And I understand if I avoid it, I'm not going to get any better. If I tackle it and take it on head first, I'm going to get better. And so this is the game I'm like, if you can get that into yourself, because remember, whoever you are, wherever you are, you learned one day. You went to some kind of a school one day. You chose to be in this career one day. You have practice training yourself. Maybe not practice training yourself on the job, but practice training yourself. So today you're going to go to this PLO high-low table and you're going to practice and you're going to do it with integrity. You got to make sure you get the things correct. So you maybe go a little slower, right, than you're used to. But you're going to practice, and by the time you're done dealing this table all day, dealing these games all day, this big tournament field, you're going to be much better at it. And that's something you're going to carry with you. Those experiences really, really add up. So like for me, if I'm an experienced dealer, I'm just going to do whatever's fun, right? Like, oh, this tournament, I think I'm going to have more fun here because it's all the same. But if I'm a less experienced dealer, I might choose to do the one that's going to sort of continue my escalation, um, into becoming even better, and then like you get these lessons under your belt. Some of this stuff becomes habit. Some of the math becomes memorized for these things, and it's just easier. And maybe you woke up today and you were exhausted. You didn't sleep well. All right, well maybe this isn't the right day for that. It just didn't work out. But if you can get up for it and you can plan it a few days in advance to deal that tournament, like that's what I would tell people, especially people that are new, as long as they understand it to begin with, right? There's a difference between getting in there, not knowing what you're doing. You're not going to know what you're doing even more if you don't know what you're doing in the first place. But if you can figure out enough of what you're doing, or you know already this game and you're just not that good at it, like I would absolutely get in there. I would think about it leading into it, and I would take it as an opportunity to really improve my skills. Um, it's a pretty cool tournament series. Let's see, what else do they have on there for Cherokee? Like I said, I'll be there a little bit later today. They have the structures. We're so used to looking at this almost this exact structure sheet. We look at it everywhere. Everybody just takes the structure sheet from everyone else and uses it, and their own put their own branding on it. 40-minute levels for a lot of it, or 30-minute levels. So what's this one for? Event number one. Yeah, oh, that's what it means, 40, 40, 40. Actually, I don't know. This one goes to 40 on level 23. The tournament player in me wishes what is going on here? Hold on. All right, so let's say theoretically I get there at, make this bigger. Theoretically, I get there today at, we'll say 1:30. Um, Actually, I'm gonna shrink this back down. I cannot cover my beautiful face. Let's say I get there at 1:30. So my only option would be to play a 2-day event. So my only real option is to play cash, unless I can get into this late. I am over 40, so they have to let me play, but it says it's a 2-day ring event. So then I would not be able to play today. And they have a 9 a.m. cash survivor, no limit. Yeah, nothing I can do. It's a $400 buy-in. Oh, there's a 2 p.m. Okay, cool. This is what's confusing. It's a cash survivor, no limit, $100 buy-in. So I guess I could play that. If I wanted to play a tournament, it's funny that that'd be a part of the series. I guess they must just sort of do that to scoop up anybody that's got some downtime. Because you can, yeah, they must have scheduled it so that like 4 p.m. For 2A, you can get in probably late. How long is reentry? Let's see. Nightly at 7, you said. Nightly, no limit. Yeah, no, no. But sorry, I guess this wasn't clear. I'm not gonna be there like all night, all night. If I'm there, I'll probably get there at like 1:30 or 2 today, and I'll probably be there until maybe 7. If I get stuck in a tournament or something, then sure, but not starting a tournament at 7. That would be too late. Um, I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll be there until 9 or 10 tonight, but uh, let's say roughly 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. is when I'll most likely be there. Oh, uh this is one of those things, man. Individual tournament subject to change or cancellation, must be 21 or older, enter the casino to gamble. All these little details. Right here. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We all put this stuff out here. Man, there are so many people that's not enough for them, unfortunately. I always think about that whenever I see this stuff. Like, the truth is, we in the industry, like especially the table games and slot machines, but poker too. I mean, just being truthful, we do the absolute minimum. We do. It's sort of sad, but it's what our culture says, and it's a money industry. We do the absolute minimum, and I hate to say it because it makes all of us look bad, but there's a reason that they put the true in front of poker dealer, like just truth first. All right, let's see here. Let me take this off the screen and take that down. All right, so let's see. It is 11:30 Eastern right now. Maybe I could end this. There hasn't really been a whole lot in the chat today. I mean, I didn't really tee it up properly. I got remote school coming up. Um, let's see. If anybody wants to be an affiliate for remote school that you've been watching, and you know people that would benefit from learning to deal poker with me specifically, and you think that they'd be a good person that would make sense to be in a remote school, um, send me an email because I have an affiliate link. I'm sort of like a little bit uh, selective about who I give the affiliate link to because this is my first time around doing any type of affiliate link but if somebody ends up signing up for remote school and you sent them there, then you get a black chip, $100. So if you're interested in sending people to remote school or you're like talking to them about it, if you want to be an affiliate, let me know. um, Maybe I'm cold, but responsibility and accountability are a thing. Right. So the casino industry, this is in reference to the, like, we do the minimum in the industry with the gambling thing. Like, look, responsibility and accountability are a thing. I totally agree with that. And um, how do I say this properly? When the entire casino industry is constantly telling people you can get lucky, you can get lucky, you can get lucky, and the actual system is not built on that, right? Poker is different. Is one of the reasons that I'm a yes to working in poker is because in poker it's a game of skill played against other players, right? And so as a poker player, you're trying to create your own edge against other players. So if I were to tell you as a poker player, you can get lucky today, you might lose tomorrow, like there's both truth in it and also you have the ability to learn the game well enough to give yourself that advantage. But like let's be real here. Table games, the reason that this exists and slot machines, the reason that this exists is because every dollar that somebody puts in and gambles against the house has a built-in edge for them to lose. And like I say, I don't work in table games anymore or in a casino that has slot machines anymore, but we basically mislead people all the time into believing that luck is a factor when the truth is luck is only a factor in the very, very, very short term. Yes, you could win any day, but if you play this game regularly, you're going to lose in the long run. And so we're literally feeding people false information in the industry. And then the part that hurts me a little bit is that people come to the poker side and they treat it the same way as they do slots and table games, where they're actually not trying to figure out how to give themselves an advantage against other people in a skill-based game. They're coming in and they're just gambling money blindly without strategy, not understanding that in the long run that person has no chance. And so it's like we're creating the thing by confusing them as people in the industry who are trying to get people to come play and make money, mostly table games and slots. I'm mostly not talking about poker here. And then we're giving a minimal bit of help for the people that we've confused essentially, but we're not taking responsibility for confusing them in the first place. So, I mean, that's how I see it to a degree. And I also do agree with you that everybody should be responsible for evaluating the information that they're given from everybody at all times. But um, the fact that we're not being responsible in our communication in the casino industry, again, talking mostly table games and slots instead of poker, but still including everybody, the fact that we're not always responsible the way we communicate information to them about how it works in the first place, that's the part where I don't feel great about the solution that we give for 1-800 gamblers. Like, it's just it's not enough because by the time they realize the information that they've been given has misled them to a false understanding and a false belief system about how things work, period, now they're at the point where they are like in an addictive habit that they're stuck in, that simple understanding is not going to take them out of. And there's no longer the ability for responsibility and accountability because they're already in a pattern habit that's incredibly powerful. And that's why every single time I see those little, like, we're doing the minimum that we can, like, I don't know. That's how I feel about it, I guess. But I mean, it's funny because it's like an industry I love. If people came to casinos and played table games, slots, poker, whatever they're gonna play, and they did it with money that they could afford to lose every time, like, and that was a part of the habit and the custom, I would definitely feel differently about it. But I mean, sometimes as a poker dealer, supervisor, manager, as a former table games dealer, I did that 15 years ago. Former table games supervisor, it's like you get to know a lot of the people that are players, and you sometimes, especially in a small casino like I worked at, you get to know them pretty well. And when you realize what their life is like when they're losing in the casino, it can be like, whoa, you know. So that's the part of this stuff. One of the things that I love about Dallas, dealing poker in Dallas more than a lot of other places, is the players are much more self-responsible, and there's way less people that are gambling with money they can't afford to lose, and it feels so much better to be there because of it. I have no idea what it's like in the Cherokee, for instance. I've spent 3 hours in that casino total and never actually gambled there myself, but I don't know. There's and you know, to be fair, it's not just the casino industry. Jacob said, well put. Well, I appreciate that. It's not just the casino industry either. It's like I started this stream talking about and maybe this is why I'm even talking about this at all, talking about like baseball cards, basketball, football cards, Pokemon cards, like that whole industry has turned into gambling. And the difference between casino and the sports card, you know, basketball, baseball, football cards, all that stuff. The difference is that the casino industry is experienced with it at this point. That industry has collectors, right? There's no collectors in casino. There's collectors in the card world, and like now they're getting mixed with gamblers, and the gambler's voice is really loud, but the industry sometimes thinks that the collectors are the ones speaking up, but really it's just the pain of the gamblers in that world. And then, you know, we've also got all of this there's all these other versions of it too, with the same types of cycles and everything. So it's been loud to me recently, but the viewers are jumping off as I'm talking about this. Nobody wants to hear about the pain points of this world, right? But yeah, that's why, like I said, that's why I put the true in front of poker dealer. You know, I'm here talking about truth. Um, you know, when you see me in person, I'm always willing to talk about truth. Although I will say this, when I'm actually dealing at a table, if I see things going on, like I see things all the time going on, you know, good poker players, while I'm dealing at a table, even at a high stakes, like good poker players are pretending to care about other people at the table just because they want them to stay there and they want to get their money and all that stuff. I don't speak the truth when I see that stuff. Like I'm fully in support of the game of poker is complex, right? The persona that a poker player puts on themselves when other people are playing against them is a part of the game of poker. So I'm certainly not going to speak to those types of things at the table, right? I'm there facilitating the game, watching and observing what the game actually is. Sometimes it's a different game than people think that's being played at the table. And that stuff can get really interesting. Like there was one time where I was dealing, and I might have told this story once before, but I'll tell it again. Pretty high stakes game. I think it was like 25-50 no limit. And a player on my right, a young guy, really smart, really good. He's on my right. He's in the seat next to me. And there's an older guy on my left that usually plays lower stakes that was playing high stakes this one time. And they were doing this thing where they were flipping red and black. And it was $100 if you know when the board comes out, and you guys have seen this, right? The dealer brings the flop. If the majority of the cards, because there's three cards, so it's either going to be majority red or majority black. If the majority of the cards are red, then this person wins. The majority of cards are black, this person wins, or you know, vice versa, whatever they decide in advance. And they were playing red black. And I mean, watching the game within the game for poker is one of the most fascinating things when you're a dealer. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything. A lot of poker rooms don't allow this type of thing, like red black and anything like that. So don't expect to see this in your poker room, but you can do this stuff in Texas sometimes, and this was years ago anyway, so they might not even allow it now. But uh, what would happen is the inexperienced old guy wanted to be playing red and black, and he wanted to be playing it because he believed that this other guy was tired. It was like 5 in the morning. And he believed that this other guy was tired, and this older guy probably had just woken up at 3 a.m. like older people do sometimes. And you know, he was like fresh and chippity and uppity, and so he was every time black came, he would be like, oh look, black, 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 give me the 100. So the guy would throw him 100. And when red came, he wouldn't say anything, and or he would occasionally throw the 100 to him, but a lot of the time he wouldn't say anything, and the guy would notice sometimes and he wouldn't notice sometimes, the young good kid. And it was fascinating because as the dealer, the actual thing that was happening was this guy that had red knew exactly what was happening. He was pretending to be tired, and he was forgetting on purpose to keep the other guy in the game so he could stack him and get all of his money, because he didn't care if he gave him $100 here and there periodically throughout the night to make this guy feel like he had an edge against the table, because he knew that this guy was going to lose as long as he stayed here long enough. The young kid knew that the old guy was going to lose eventually, so he pretended to not notice when he won the red black flips sometimes that were happening during the game, and it was just totally fascinating. So yeah, I enjoyed that very much. And I don't say anything when I'm seeing stuff like that. Like when red comes on the table there, let's say it's an underground game or something, or a private game or something like that, where maybe this is allowed, and that's a better example. Like when that comes as the dealer, I'm not being like, hey, you won. Like, no, 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 no. This is not the game that I'm here dealing. I'm letting that part happen. They can do whatever they want with that stuff as long as it's allowed, right? And the thing I'm doing that I'm focusing on is the rest of it, which is the actual poker being played properly, etc. And there's definitely an advanced dealing technique concept there that has to do with understanding um, the game that you're sitting at and dealing. So let's see. I got about 15 minutes. I'm sort of eager to get to Cherokee. So maybe I'll say this. I'll be here for another 10 minutes or so. Um, and if anybody's in the chat, then I'll stick around for the full like 10-15 minutes. And if nobody's in there, maybe I'll leave after 5 minutes or so and then go over to Cherokee. And if I see you there, say hi. I'm definitely looking forward to being out there though. I've lived in Asheville for 3 years in North Carolina now, and I've only made it to Cherokee once, and I'm looking forward to spending some actual time there. And the one time that I went, I went with my significant other, and she doesn't care about casinos. Like, I did surprise her one year, and we went to Vegas for her birthday a couple years ago, but that was like way, way, way outside the box for her, and we did not do gambling stuff when we were there. Had a good time, but we did not do gambling stuff when we were there. So I'm looking forward to going for the very first time with people that understand the poker world and casino world and Cherokees. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Well, it doesn't seem like anybody else is in the chat right now, and so appreciate you guys being here, and I am definitely looking forward to remote school. We got remote dealer school coming up. If you're thinking about it, we've got 15 total spots. Some of them are filled already. If you're looking to go to remote school, jump in there now while you can. One of the things that I'll be doing when I go to the Cherokee room is, coming up with a little strategy with some of the people there, because the people that work in these tournament series, they always need dealers, and so I'll be talking to them about that as well. So looking forward to that too. But appreciate you guys being here. I'm gonna just end this now. I think we had a good time together today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.